share the screen.
And please, ladies and gentlemen, whilst Jerry is doing this, do not have any fear if you need to ask questions. That you have my WhatsApp details. My office hours are open. Please, by all means, WhatsApp me. And if I can assist you, I will assist you. If I can't assist you, I'll put you onto people that can assist you.
Thanks, Charles. All right, folks, yeah, I think let's just move straight on to the coaching pathway. So we're just going to introduce the WBSA coaching pathway and just some general, tips and ideas within the coaching pathway. First of all, in wheelchair basketball, in South Africa specifically and globally, it's the wheelchair basketball pathway for coaching is quite similar to the able-body basketball. I'll touch more onto the different levels in that. What we'll do is move on to that. First and foremost, just sort of going on a little bit from the safeguarding policy is obviously more than just that is, coaches need to be quite clued up on the proper equipment usage and making sure that all the players are using the equipment correctly. They've got any protective gear specifically around the wheelchairs themselves. And then obviously to adhere to all the rules and regulations. First and foremost, they must ensure that players understand the proper techniques for maneuvering wheelchairs and making sure that they are, able to execute play safely. As a coach, obviously, most important, understanding the sport. The first step in developing your coaching skills is to make sure that you have a thorough understanding of the sport itself. And that's obviously including rules, regulations, and the specific nuances related to wheelchair basketball. And again, you've got to have an understanding of the classification system. So any coaches on here that may be coming from able-body side, very important that you understand the classification system, and we will do a basic classification workshop later on in this workshop series. Moving on, obviously, we're talking now wheelchair basketball South Africa, education and certification. We will be doing a series of these online workshops. Initially, we were just going to do, this once-off workshop series, but we've had discussions with the coaching commission as well as the provincial coaching managers, and we've decided that this will be an ongoing thing where we will present specific topics. So again, we encourage you, if you have any specific topics that you need clarity on, whether it be on the philosophy of coaching or to specific skills and drills, I think share that information with us, and we can then talk to our national coaching instructor, Max McLean, who's online here with us as well tonight, as well as Superman Lagumbi, our coaching manager, and we can certainly put something together. Just to go slightly off topic, we had our coaching instructors workshop this weekend. It's still a work in progress. It's a new concept for wheelchair basketball South Africa. What we are trying to do is train up instructors to be able to run specifically the entry-level workshops within the provinces. So as I have indicated on the actual WhatsApp group, once we've finalized the provincial coaching entry-level workshops, we'll obviously notify you of those dates, and then from there we'll also talk about the national practical workshops that we will be introducing a bit later on. Within the education and certification, we've got to have a look at obviously your basic knowledge on coaching. So there will be a theory side to it, which we prefer to do and go through the theory on these online workshops. You'll be then given a quiz or an exam, and then once we have a clear sort of feeling that you are fully understanding the theory side of it, then obviously we then invite you through to the practical workshops. Aside from the practical workshops, we then also will expect you to provide us with evidence that you're coaching. What we found in the past, we've done a series of workshops over the years, flown coaches up to Johannesburg. They come up for the workshops and then they disappear. So going forward, and not just from that perspective, but obviously from a development of your own personal coaching abilities, what we will do is ask you to provide us with a photograph of the score sheet that you were involved in a game, and each level will have a specific number of games that we will ask you to complete within the year, and then from that you will then be awarded your final coaching certificates. Yeah, so that's covered in that final line there. Just to run through the actual coaching pathway itself, I'll talk to the left-hand column, but then I'll ask Charles if he wouldn't mind coming in just to talk about the South African Coaching Association pathway. Entry level is obviously the entrance into the sport. This will cover the basic fundamentals of wheelchair basketball. One of the key problems that we are facing at a high performance level is most of our players coming through to the national teams do not have a grasp at all of the basic fundamentals of the sport. And in discussion with the national team head coach Trooper Johnson, the biggest concerns that he has is that players are arriving at a national camp, they're not able to dribble, they're not able to shoot correctly, they have no chair skills, no discipline. So these are areas that we are going to be focusing on and making sure that we get this right, because performances for our national team will never improve if we don't get the entry-level grassroots fundamentals correctly. I'm sure I'll bring in Max McLean to also have a word on that a bit later on. But then once you've completed your entry level and you've done your coaching, we call it coaching evidence, that you've been coaching in the PCCLs or the schools leagues, etc., then you will then be able to move on to level 1, and then again similar process, number of games eventually, and then you'll move on to level 2 and eventually on to level 3. Just to move across now to the coaching, the SACA, the South African Coaching Association. I will ask Charles just to come in and explain what we mean by, if you see level 3, is the equivalent of a coaching assistant in QF3. Charles, if you don't mind just coming in here.
Absolutely. So those that are not aware of a NQF, okay, it's a national qualification, and it determines the level of education a person has within the structure. So South African Coaching Association is called SACA. It was an organization that was started approximately 8 years ago, and it falls under SASCOC, the South African Confederation for Olympic Committees. And the whole setup behind it is that there was a program that was designed under sports management, where anybody that writes a sports management diploma or sports management degree had to have qualification within a coaching structure. Okay, so if they are specifically wanting to offer their sports management, and they wanted specific coaching experience behind them, what would happen is that this pathway that South Africa has provided brings them up to approximately what they call a coach assistant. It's not even at a coach level, which requires a national qualification, or what they term as a FIBA certification as a coach in basketball. Then they have, within the actual structure of the diploma, somebody called a senior coach, somebody called a master coach, and of course the senior coach and the master coach are coaches that officiated Olympics, Paralympics, World Championships, and so forth. Now, once you have completed all of these particular levels of qualification, you can then continue studying an NQ6, 7, and 8 and 9, and become, it's a nice way to say it, higher than a master's coach. And it provides you with certification through the education systems of university and colleges. Now, if you do not have certification, you are not allowed to sell your services to anybody around South Africa or around the world. So what we do is we do what we call the entry levels to a level 3. This is the requirements for South Africa coaching, but for world coaching, you require an NQF 9 certification. Now, when we deal with this, it's just advanced coaching. And Max McLean will explain to you quite clearly that once we've reached level 3, we don't have a level 4, level 5, level 6 coaching. It is experience that now comes in line. But within the actual educational side of things, there are certificates that can be written that provide you with this qualification further. I hope that makes sense.
Thanks, Charles. All right, moving on to the next slide. Again, we can ask questions of that at the end if you don't mind. Just another slide, basically explaining it just in a more of a summarized version. So I'll move on to our coaching program. So at an entry level program, we generally prefer to do a 4-day workshop when it comes to the practical. So the theory gets covered on these online workshops, and then we spend more time on the practical, on-court demonstrations, and we find that is a far more effective way of getting better understanding for coaches. And we generally tend to get the coaches in the wheelchairs so that they understand the dynamics of the chair itself and all the skills and drills around it. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we focus on the basic fundamentals. And then obviously, as you progress through the levels, we then get more advanced to each level. So by the time that you are at level 3, you're actually spending more time on video analysis of games and identifying the different kinds of offensive and defensive tactics, monitoring players, scouting, and all of that. But that's at a more advanced level. From a coaching perspective, obviously practical experience. The more practical experience you get, it's actually quite crucial within developing your coaching skills. We suggest work with players at various skill levels, from youth teams to elite levels, and that way you get to develop your skills, and you can maybe then just decide, yeah, I'm better with the youth teams, or I want to progress through the ranks and become an elite level a coach. Hands-on experience is a good way for coaches to apply their theoretical knowledge in the real world coaching situations. Again, we also encourage you continued learning. At the workshop this past weekend with the instructors, Max was drumming into those coaching instructors that they need to do their own research, your own get online, get onto YouTube, get onto Google, and just research the topics that you maybe need to know more information about, and just basically do your own self-improvement. The more work you put in, obviously, the better you will become further down the line. Again, any coaching clinics, seminars, workshops that come up, jump on those and try and get as much value out of those as you possibly can, and stay up to date with all the advancements. Wheelchair basketball is a sport that is constantly changing. So just we've heard comments from coaches that maybe coached wheelchair basketball 10 years ago. Now they want to get back into the sport, and they were a level 2 coach back then. Yes, I mean, we still recognize that you're level 2, but you are required every 2 years now to recycle. So because of these things, the rules change, and not just the rules. There's if you look at how quick the game is, and You know, whereas in the past, maybe the 4 and 4.5 players were dominating. You know, the way things are going now, it's the midpointers that tend to dominate teams globally. So just to keep you learning on a continual basis. As coaches, you need to be adaptable and have some flexibility. You know, this is just specifically because you're dealing with the diverse nature of player abilities and needs, and obviously the different disabilities. You know, be able to tailor your coaching strategies and techniques around, you know, the unique challenges faced by your specific team. You might have specific athletes with different challenges, so you do need to adapt to that. And also, you know, that would include modifying your drills, developing specialized training programs. But that obviously you will find will come more as more advanced coaching, and not so much at the stage on the basic entry level side of things. But it is possible that you do have to come up with new ideas with certain individualized players, for example. Again, you know, often you might find yourself as a coach, you don't have necessarily the luxury of a team manager, so your communication skills are quite crucial, specifically with dealing with, you know, you might need to be communicating with the parents, for example, but specifically at the trainings, clear, concise instructions, provide feedback, and obviously constant motivation for the players. Be able to listen to your players. You know, I think sometimes players might be, you know, as long as they feel that they are able to talk to the coach and you know, address their concerns, that's quite important, especially when you're dealing with youth players. And then, yeah, building positive relationships with the players and creating a supportive team environment. These are key aspects to effective coaching. And then it goes without saying, you are the leader of the team, so you need strong leadership and management skills. And we expect you guys to lead by example. You know, this includes things like you know, sportsmanship, and you know, just teaching them the right disciplines and all that stuff. And then another essential skill is obviously your organizational skills. So, you know, as I mentioned, you might not have the luxury of a team manager, so you'll have to organize the practices, sometimes scheduling the games and managing the logistics. So coaches definitely need to sort of lean towards some management skills at the same time. Yeah, just going back onto the ethics and sportsmanship, you play a crucial role in promoting ethics and sportsmanship within wheelchair basketball. You should be upholding the principles of fair play, integrity, and the respect for the opponents, as well as everybody's favorite referees and officials. Obviously, the teammates at the same time. And then coaches should also prioritize the well-being and safety of their players on and off the court. And just to summarize, you know, overall in developing your coaching skills within wheelchair basketball, it's a combination of education, practical experience, continuous learning, adaptability, communication, leadership, and of course, ethical conduct. The more time you invest into honing these skills, the better coach you will become. And that is my presentation on the coaching pathway. So I'd open up to first, I'll ask Max McLean to come in and just ask him if he wants to add anything from the coaching instructors side of things. And also after that, Sipamanda Gumbi, the National Coaching Commission Manager. Max?
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you all here. The entry level, we just started that one. We started off with a level 1, but then we introduced the entry level, which we found it's the most important course, because at the end of the day, it's those coaches which are dealing with the schools, guys in the clinics, hospitals, etc., etc. You are actually laying down the foundation for the national team players. We actually call it now not just entry level, but we call it corrective coaching, which means that you're looking at all aspects of the basic fundamental skills. You're trying to polish those skills to perfection. You're identifying where the problems are and trying to fix them, i.e. layups, shooting, ball skills, chess skills, whatever the skill might be. But we don't introduce you into any tactical stuff. It's all just basic fundamental skills. Get that right, and the guys at club level, provincial level, and especially national level do not have to spend much time trying to work on those things, i.e. bouncing the ball while you're moving, dribbling, etc., etc. So yeah, the other thing is when you do it, make it fun. Have fun. And as coaches, you're going to get this big thing about a job description. You know what a coach should be. That to me is just a job description. My attitude is the main job of a coach is to inspire. So inspire your learners and your athletes to do better, be better versions of themselves. And those people that have actually worked under me or have been taught by me, you know that I'm drumming that into you all the time. So if average is 50%, 51%, you're not average anymore. And just strive to be a better version of yourself on a daily basis. But as we go along and we progress into the different levels, you'll see that it gets harder and harder and more intense. So yes, there's going to be a lot of pressure put on you there in those days. But yes, we'll sort this thing out and we'll make it work. And we can only do it with your help.
Thanks, Max. Sipa, do you want to add anything?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Smith. Yeah, I think a lot has been covered, Jerry, and we cannot not really stress it further than what you guys have just said now. It's just that we really need everybody to come on board and sort of adapt to the changes, and we can roll forward. And starting from tomorrow, as we're going to be starting and with our training programs, for entry level. So I believe that we would have like a good turnout for tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, let's just get the ball rolling, and we really and truly have to focus on these fundamentals and the basic skills. So yeah, I just hope everybody will really put the effort into it, and get the buy-ins from the coaches at the grassroots level and at the schools, and also from the players as well. So let's get the ball rolling, guys. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Sipa. Yeah, and I think just to stress the point to everybody, the majority of you are working with the grassroots players, and for us, we deem that the most important area in wheelchair basketball. So the coaches that are working with the development players are the coaches that we want to be the best coaches, because obviously we need you to be teaching the right fundamentals, the right skills, et cetera, so that by the time players maybe I'll get invited to the national team trials, the national coach does not have to teach them how to dribble and how to shoot and how to use their chair. So that's quite an important role that you all play here, and we need to get this right from WBSA's perspective. This is why we've introduced our national coaching instructors workshop. It is an ongoing process, and eventually we hope to have all the provinces with trained up instructors. But in the interim, Max McLean and Sipamandla Gumbi will work with the provincial coaching managers, and we will make sure that we get around to the provinces to assist you. And yeah, let's make a success of it. Fred, I see you have a question. You're probably talking to your muted mic, Fred. Go ahead, Fred. Fred, can't hear you. Maybe just type your question or comment in the chat box. Does anybody else have any questions so far about the coaching pathway or anything related to that? I have obviously shared the upcoming workshops. I will yeah, we as I said, we will post the recordings of all the workshops. So should you miss a workshop, it's not the end of the world, although we would prefer you to be on a workshop. We will share the videos as well as all the presentations. Any other questions, comments? Great. Well, I think.
Gee, can I just come in there?
Yes. Yep. Go ahead, Max.
We're trying to get this thing to a stage that if you've got any questions whatsoever, and we've got these WhatsApp groups, ask them, and we will come back to you with answers. So we can actually make these platforms a discussion platform where everybody gets engaged. You know, because the whole thing with me is inclusion. So if we include everybody into the conversation, everybody will remember what's been asked and everybody will remember what's been said. So, you know, let's just get together and work as a team, one big happy family. And I'm sure Sipa and myself will assist you wherever we can. And if we can't, we'll certainly go and investigate and do our research and come back to you with the correct answers. We'll also back up a lot of our stuff with videos to try and assist you people with drills, shooting skills, and things of that nature. So, yeah, we'll make it fun. But as long as everybody will learn, and we're going to keep that standard very, very high. And don't forget, guys, the people at corrective coaching level, the entry level, you are the most important coaches in this whole process. Because if you don't get it right down the line, it's not going to be right. So we need to work a lot on you to make sure that you fully understand exactly what's required of you, exactly what you're looking for, how to fix it, how to get it right. And it just makes life easier down the line for all the other coaches. But thanks very much anyway.
And just to follow up on that, no question is a bad question, you know. So you know, if ask the question, even if the others do know the answer, but you know, there might be somebody else that benefits from you asking the question too. Fred, try again.
Gary, thanks again. Sorry, I was just getting technology challenges there.
All right, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so my question is related to what Max has just, Coach Max has just said. So if we don't get it right at the very beginning, there will be issues later on. My point of origin is that we as club, you know, representatives, we often get a lot of young players coming through, either from schools or just coming directly to us, and we have a situation where we've got senior players, we've got new players coming in, and we only have one coach. And for one coach, in the 2 hours that we have for practice, to sort of cater for everybody, it becomes a bit of a challenge. I know there are resources in many places, but do you as an organization have somewhere where you can point somebody, or where us as clubs can point someone to say, if you're if it's a beginner, go through this kind of literature or go through this video, you know, so that they all start in a standard way and they all start in the correct way.
Thanks for that question, Fred. Yeah, look, so I mean, what we are busy putting together is you know, comprehensive presentations on as many topics as possible. But I would, you know, as we go through these workshops, and there will be recordings, by all means, use those recordings, show the players. But it actually gives you, from a club perspective now, and I'm sure Charles is itching to come in here. This is where we need you clubs to have more than just your senior team. You know, you should be looking at including juniors into your club structures, your second teams, that kind of stuff, and then you know, you need to identify coaches to come on board, and you know, the more younger players that are coming through, and you have structures within your clubs to be able to have a second team and maybe an under 19 or an under 16, whatever age group you've got there. As clubs try and look into that. We totally get there are certain challenges with regards to equipment and venues and all of that. But yeah, it's definitely the onus on the clubs now to try and develop the club structures better than what they are currently. But in terms of learning opportunities, our plan is to be able to put the basic fundamental skills and drills on our YouTube channel, and we'll be able to players will be able to access that kind of information. And yeah, obviously we'll be sharing through the coaching structures, the presentations, and all of this. The onus is now on you as coaches to distribute that information to the players. Charles, do you want to add anything onto the club situation?
Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, look, as I said, I've been going around the country and dealing with all the provinces. This is part of the administration workshop that has been done. The importance of ensuring that everybody that understands that a club is not made up of one team, that is made up of a minimum of 2 teams with 8 players per team, and that there is a feeder system from the one entity into the other entity. The biggest problem that I'm receiving now while I'm doing these workshops is establishing how many provinces have actually lied about the number of clubs they have within their structures, and then the number of teams that are participating in the structure, where a team consists of only 5 players. And this, I think, is a misconception by everybody right now, and it is not conducive to the growth of wheelchair basketball. We have to ask one fundamental question. Okay, why is it that we are no longer number 1 in Africa? Why are we now sitting as a male team as number 5 on the continent? And it's purely because we are not having players that are fundamentally being taught from grassroots level. And because of this, we're struggling when it comes to high performance.
Thanks, Charles. Before I go to Nikki, Fred, did we answer your question?
Yeah, I'm answered. Thanks. I'm answered. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Nikki, go ahead.
Hi, I thought I'd just come in and chat a little bit from a grassroots level. We've developed players from many ages, but recently we decided our numbers were dwindling, and so we started encouraging players as young as grade 1, and we don't have them in basketball wheelchairs yet, but we are just getting them into the culture of basketball. We have a small developmental pole that's quite short, so they're experiencing the success, and the older players are showing off, so they're really enjoying it. But I do feel that it's an important thing to involve parents as caregivers, especially with the young ones. We are very my English is finished this time of the night. Please excuse me. We are very, I would say, privileged in the sense that we have a medical sister at our school. We have physiotherapists. We have a whole paramedical team to assist with seating our learners appropriately. But we do feel that it's an important element to involve the parents as caregivers, to take them to clubs, to take them to games, to encourage them from the beginning, to figure out transport for these things, so that when they leave school, the learner doesn't just quit basketball, that it can be a long-term how can I say this, love of the sport.
Yeah, that's Nikki. That's great. Max, I think if you come in here again, he will talk about, often we hear even from our national players, they will tell us, oh, we don't have equipment, or we don't have a court to go and train on, and we don't have basketball structures and all of that. And I'll bring in Max here, and he'll explain what he tells everybody on that topic.
Okay, first of all, you've got to make the game fun. I mean, and all the drills that you even put in place, make them fun. You want your kids, they're looking forward to their practice. They actually want to just get out of school quickly and come down onto the courts and play and just have fun and learn new things that the coaches are about to teach them. But I'm busy working with the Congolese teams, and they've got no resources whatsoever. And they're actually sending me videos like on their ball skills. And the funny thing is that the video is that they've gone and they've cleared a little patch of felt somewhere under a tree, taken a 20-liter paint bucket, turned it upside down. That's his chair. And his ball is actually a big plastic bag stuffed with newspaper. And all he's doing is he's doing focus shooting and things of that nature, where he's trying to take this little plastic bag and he's hitting one spot. And he's pushing it around his back, the figure eights and things of that nature. So I'll post a lot of these videos on the groups and whatever. So if anybody turns around and says to you, well, we don't have the facilities, we don't have a chair, we don't have a court, we don't have a ball, you'd be very amazed what you can use and supplement these things with. So, don't be disheartened that you don't have a basketball chair. I mean, when basketball first started, they all played in their day chairs, right back in the 1942s or whatever the case might be. So, but the problem is that our biggest problem is entitlement. Everybody thinks they're entitled to this new kit. Forget about the new kit. Just work on being a better version of yourself and developing your skills to a point of, we'd like to say perfection, but as good as you possibly can get it with what you've got. But make it fun. Just have fun. That's all it's all about. Have fun.
Max,
I'm sure Marinda, you've got the same thing where your kids just want to come and play on the court the whole time. They want to get out of the classroom.
the kids absolutely,
But I can
love
assist you
it.
in any way you want to. Anytime you need any help, just give me a shout.
Thank you.
You're always welcome.
All right. Any other questions? Comments? All right. Well, in that case, let's call it a night. Same time tomorrow night, where Max and Sipamandla will present their topics. I've shared so much stuff that I can't remember if I've actually shared the remainder of these workshop dates. I think I did this afternoon, but we will constantly keep you updated as to further workshops once we finish this batch. And of course, any when the practical workshops are going to take place. So yeah, but again, any questions, please feel free to drop them on the group, and we'll answer them as soon as possible. Just one other thing, and this is now not so much for the schools, it's more for the clubs and the provinces. We are planning on a team managers workshop from the 8th to the 10th of March. So if you know of any team managers from a provincial team or a super sport club that should be joining us at a team managers workshop, that information has also just been distributed. So we'll keep you updated on that aspect. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. As I said, I'll get these recordings uploaded onto a private YouTube link, and then we'll share them as soon as they are up and ready. So from my side, thank you very much, and see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, G. Thank you, Charles.